up, everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot at K-pop. We're coming at you with a super spicy episode 118 and the 2020 SojuTalk Kpop Awards. I'm Doug, and joining me today we got Warren.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Anita.
Hello.
And as a quick reminder, check out SojuTalk on your favorite podcast platform, sub to us on YouTube, and join the SojuTalk Discord and be a part of the nation. All right, we got a lot of housekeeping before we start this, but we are pre-recording this episode on December 13th, and it should be released on December 23rd. So Merry Christmas, everyone. What's up? Next week on December 30th, though, be on the lookout for our 2020 K-pop year in review and predictions for 2021. So that should be a thing. Do you got any comments to say, Warren?
I'm excited for all this end of the year stuff. It's gonna be real fun. Oh yeah.
Okay, little weird. Normally you have comments. You don't today. All right, a quick preview for the awards. Today we will be awarding the following awards. I guess we'll be giving out something special. You'll see once we get there. So the base awards are Rookie of the Year, male and female. So that's for groups specifically. Best solo artist, male and female. Underrated song of the year. Each of us will give out one of those. Boy Group Excellency and Girl Group Excellency. And then our 4 Daesangs, Boy Group of the Year, Girl Group of the Year, Song of the Year, and Artist of the Year. In preparation, we had our listeners, the SojuTalk Nation, fill out surveys that gave us the nominees and will serve as tiebreakers if we ever get stuck in our deliberation. Lastly, keep in mind that at the end of the day, this is just our opinions. We're just 3 stupid people with microphones, so take it for what it is and don't get too angry. But now, it is time to give out some awards. All right. First category, Rookie of the Year for boy groups. All right, so our nominees are Gravity, ENHYPEN, MCND, Treasure, and TOO.
Ooh.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Okay.
First of all, I want to say, TOO fans came in pretty strong. I thought there were some other boy groups that had a good shot to make it in that 5th spot. So they came in 5th in the overall voting. Some other groups I thought might have had a chance were like P1 Harmony, Drippin'.
Right.
TOO took it, so shout out to them.
Shout outs.
All right. I'll make my case, right?
Okay.
Go off.
I think you have to give Rookie of the Year to Treasure, straight up. Like, YG Entertainment's Treasure. So, they had 3 title tracks this year, right?
Right.
I Love You and Boy, Going Back in Time. So that is in reverse order. They sold 703,000 albums on Gaon only through the month of November. There's one more month to go. That is first place among all rookie groups.
I mean, even if they weren't a rookie group, that's a big number. That's a
very big number.
Yeah.
Very big number. Yeah, like, man. I mean, like, if you bring out the numbers, I think it's undeniable. I think it's difficult to argue. Like, if you look at the numbers, that's 703,000. I will say I wasn't the biggest fan of their comebacks or the songs. And here is where I lean a little less towards their sale numbers and a little more towards how strong and how convinced and how persuaded I was with their first release. And that's where my vote would go to ENHYPEN's Give and Taken, ENHYPEN. I think that debut in specific, the whole like activity leading up to it and out of it, I think it was very solid. And like they had a lot of good sales too, just on November 30th, on one day, they had 318,000, that's also not a small number, I think it's impossible to deny. That's a big number too. So I would say my vote goes to ENHYPEN's Give and Taken. So there you go. I don't know. How about you?
I mean, you're giving it to the group, not the song, Warren. Keep that in mind.
That is their only title track.
Right. I'm thinking they had like a very solid debut and a lot of great activities and around it, like
that sounds like a bunch of BS. But Anita, all right, Anita.
Okay, fine.
For me, I feel like looking at the list of nominees,
oh my god, she changed her thing. She changed it.
Did you change it during what we're doing this?
I swear it wasn't that earlier today.
No, this has been my vote
Really?
since the beginning.
Okay.
I'll give some context. I think for me, I was looking at both ENHYPEN and Treasure, right? Because I feel like they were one of the more the groups with more expectations, right? Coming from Big Hit, Believed Lab, and Treasure coming from YG, right? And I agree for sure. The numbers don't lie. The sales are great. They had a very nice debut, both of them. But for Treasure, I feel like the pressure, right? Like the expectations have kind of been settling down a little bit for me, and I feel like their last two comebacks, I Love You and didn't quite push it further than the beginning, right? And for Enhypen, it's been such a short amount of time since they debuted, so I feel like I can't quite tell. Like, is this gonna be going up or is it gonna stagnate?
Just to be very clear, you guys both saw Island. I was the one who didn't see Island.
True.
I mean, I'm not saying Enhypen had a bad song. I'm just saying
of course not.
They only did one song. Like
exactly.
It's been like 14 days since they've been debuted.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
And I guess maybe it does affect the fact that there was some expectations having been a viewer of the show, like I don't know how good it's going to be or how big the concept is going to go, but for me I think it's a lot about build up, right? And consistency. And I think Gravity from Starship, so it's kind of a smaller company, still
Starship's smaller company.
I mean, you're competing with YG and Big Hit.
Okay, fair.
But I feel like their popularity and like their build-up has been pretty consistent. Am I a huge fan of all of their title tracks? No, but their B-sides are really good. Like I honestly go and check out the rest of their songs, and I want to say I'm pretty sure because I double checked, but I'm pretty sure they're the only rookie group that has won a music show out of this list. And I don't know, I feel like they're very solid. They've kept up with the hype from Produce, despite all the scandals that happened. So I feel like they're on a good track. I feel like I'm very, very pleasantly surprised with their success. So I want to shout them out.
Just as a fact check, Gravity did win first place with Flame on September 1st in the show. That's a fair argument to make. All right. I mean,
all I'll say.
Thing?
No, before I say that, right? I just want to point out Treasure with 703,000 sales through November, right?
Huge
8th place among all boy groups in K-pop.
Wow.
8th place, right?
Right.
They sold more than ATEEZ. They sold more than NCT Dream. Just saying.
That's, if you put it in scale like that, I guess that's a strong number.
All right, so let's say what the SojuTalk Nation did, because I don't think we'll be able to decide. I don't think any of us are. We're kind of stubborn here.
Right.
So SojuTalk Nation, in 3rd place they had Enhypen. The way we did it was sort of how we do it with Spice King, where we had everyone fill out those surveys, right? If you put a group in 1st place, we gave them 3 points. If you put a group in 2nd place, we gave them 2 points. And if you put a group in 3rd place, we gave them 1 point. Enhypen got 107 points. 2nd place was Gravity with 159 points. And in 1st place was Treasure with 237 points.
Okay.
And we did say at the beginning, SojuTalk Nation would serve as the tiebreaker if we're stuck. So
that's a fair argument, though. I feel like popularity-wise, Treasure, definitely see it in the numbers as well.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna pull something out for the YouTube viewers. If you're watching or if you're listening on audio, please go watch the YouTube. I made a trophy this year.
What's that?
I zombied a soju bottle, and I bought gold spray paint. And now we have the golden soju, and I put our logo on it too, because you have to.
Very nice.
If this was champagne, you might be popping open a little bit of the bubbly, but this is not. This is soju. I believe that because SojuTalk Nation voted a certain way, we will be awarding the soju for Rookie of the Year, guy groups, boy groups, whatever you want to call it, to Treasure for 2020. Shout out to Treasure.
Congratulations.
All right, let's move on to the second category, Rookie of the Year girl groups. So the nominees are aespa, Signature, Secret Number, Stacy, and Weekly. How about Warren goes first with his argument here?
Yeah.
Who do you want to give Rookie of the Year girl group to?
I'm looking at the script and I'm clearly in the big minority here. Okay.
Still.
Okay. My vote actually goes to Stacy. I'm gonna be very
You
honest.
bugging, bro. You bugging.
I know I'm kind of crazy with this one. Hear me out though. I think So Bad is almost too forward. I think they're almost ahead of our times right now. I think their debut was one of the most, how do I say it, perfect that we've had in a while. And I'm not saying that these other groups had bad debuts and bad, first solid years. I think even though Stacey had a very, very recent debut, I think it left a lot of impact in terms of like where I see the industry going and how they fit into that whole big picture and scheme. Obviously, I think each member is very talented, and then they have such a great producer behind them. And therefore, I think, who am I most excited for? Who did I think I had? Who do I think had the first most solid debut out of all of these groups? That's where I'm like, okay, that's got to go to Stacey.
I'm gonna make a confession, right? You know how I'm like I'm on the Stacey hype train, right? I think that's very obvious. The way I discussed.
Better still be.
I'm kind of on the aespa hype train too, yo.
Nice.
I've been watching the content. So I made a random number generator, pick my bias in the group before the group came out. So it was Ning Ning. I don't think it's Ning Ning anymore.
Oh,
I think my favorite member is Winter. Like, I really like Winter. If you watch any of the content they're putting on their YouTube channel, that's not just music. That girl's just really charming. So shout out to Winter. But the group that I want to give Rookie of the Year girl group to is Weekly.
Yes, Weekly.
So Play 'Em Entertainment. They had 2 title tracks. Their debut with Tag Me. Everyone loves Tag Me. Let's be straight up here. That's
debut.
a great song.
It's a good song.
Zigzag, a little bit more room for discussion, I would say. I'm not the biggest fan of Zigzag personally. I do think it's okay though.
I am.
Weekly are the only girl group in the top 10 for album sales through November. In 8th place with 47,000 albums.
That's actually a lot of sales for a rookie girl group.
That's very significant, I think.
Yeah, it's actually very significant. Oh man.
I sometimes feel like our Soju Talk Discord is not the greatest representation of the wide world of K-pop, including all fans, but we love Weekly on our server so much, right? Like, I think I'm really influenced by that. I think they have a ton of potential.
Yes.
Play 'Em Entertainment seems to know what they're doing. They've sustained A-Pink this long, right?
Yeah.
So I think they definitely know what they're doing in terms of K-pop. I think if aespa had 2 songs, they would probably take this. Because Black Mamba was pretty big. But I think given the whole catalog of work everyone's done so far, Stacey's pretty new. aespa's pretty new. Weekly's been here since like the spring. I kind of have to give it to Weekly in my mind. But what about you, Anita? Same? Okay.
You were so
same
eager to
boat
say that.
as Doug. I guess I'm in the minority here, but I actually really like the progression of their releases, like with Tag Me and then Zigzag, because it's not really going in like one specific direction only. It seems to be like a general concept, right? And trying different sounds. And I really like that. I feel like it's a very, very solid debut for a girl group. And yes, I really liked Stacey So Bad, but I feel like they're so new. I wish there was
exactly
more.
How I feel. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to them though, for sure.
All right, in terms of the SojuTalk Nation, in 3rd place, they put Stacey with 144 points. In 2nd place, they put aespa with 164 points. And then in 1st place, they put Weekly with a monstrous 270 points.
Oh, man.
There we go.
They gave up so many points. So I believe that the Soju for Rookie of the Year girl groups goes to Weekly. Shout out to Weekly. I don't think many of the members are able to drink soju, so they can put the trophy on their in their dorm somewhere on a shelf at the company, but please don't partake because that's probably illegal for most of them. All right, let's move on to the next category. Best Solo Artist Male. So the nominees, which were chosen by the SojuTalk Nation through the surveys, are Baekhyun, Crush, Kang Daniel, Taemin, and Zico. Those are some big players in the world of K-pop.
What these names?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like all of these artists had a solid year where, like, if any of these people won, I wouldn't be surprised.
I completely agree with that as well. Yeah.
Right. But I think I have a solid pick out of these.
Okay.
Like a very solid pick. Yeah. Should I go? Should I go?
Yeah,
Should I go?
yeah.
Yes.
You're already going.
I think my nomination has to go to Taemin here. I think it has to. Like,
Same.
yeah. The if you think about the series of releases he had from Two Kids to Criminal to Idea to Be Your Enemy recently, I think that was such a solid catalog of songs. It's almost difficult to argue that like he just had a very strong series of comebacks, and it all led into just one strong set of activities. And then his involvement in other projects as well, like the group name is escaping
Super
my
M.
mouth.
Super M.
Super M, yeah, like stuff like that. I think it all adds up into him being like the biggest standout male solo player of the year for me. Yeah.
Anita, you could go. I'm pretty sure you agree with this though.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I feel like Taemin for this year really wanted to push out a ton of content and concept, especially having like a 2-part album.
Right.
Very, very big project while still being active in other groups as Super M. I don't know. I feel like definitely showed off his skill as an artist, as a performer, as a singer, dancer, everything. So I feel like definitely for me, I would have to give it a Taemin as well. I had a hard time because I thought, based on numbers, Baekhyun also had like a super great year.
1.04 million album sales with
Oh,
first place.
man.
But
It's a lot of
I don't
album
know. I
sales.
think for me, the 2-part album that Taemin released kind of really was like a whole nother level just for him. So I don't know. I think I need to give the shout out to Taemin.
All right. I was stuck between 3 people, right? I thought Baekhyun, Taemin, and Zico. I'll go through the other 2 people first. Crush, I think he's fringe K-pop at best. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, so although like Mayday, Ohio, Let Me Go, all really good songs, right? So I
Right.
don't think in this type of award, which is we're a K-pop award show, he has a really good shot to win it, right? Kang Daniel, I think that compared to the other 3 people in this category, he's still on the come up more, right? He's still getting to that point with these other artists. But Zico, obviously, he released 3 songs, Any Song, Summer Hate, Cartoon War, the 3 music videos. Any Song, of course, blew up. We all know this, right?
Yes.
Like,
Right.
I kind of see Any Song as more of a phenomenon in itself versus Zico himself having the great year.
I agree. I totally
True.
agree with that. Yeah.
And then with Baekhyun, obviously the album sales are undeniable, over 1 million one. Like that's crazy. I think Candy's a really good song, but I just feel like with the one release, right? Even though it was a really good release, I don't think it ever gained like a ridiculous amount of traction. I think we were more excited about how the sales were doing, him as a person. Like I think that's more the narrative this year.
Right.
Taemin though.
Right.
This boy been hustling all year. I know he's only 5th in album sales out of male solo artists with 269,000. I know Kang Daniel has more in second place with 604, and obviously Baekhyun's at 1 million, right? But Taemin's been putting in work this year. Like
Yes, so
he's
much.
been going ham. I personally agree with Warren and Anita. I really want to give it to Taemin this year.
Yeah.
In terms of SojuTalk Nation, right? 3rd place, they put Baekhyun in 3rd place with 159 points. There was a tie for first place, right?
Oh my.
Between Taemin and Zico with 187 points each. After
Wow.
all, like 100 and something people filled out the survey, it ended up in a tie. That's crazy.
How likely is that's very unlikely, isn't
It's
it?
very unlikely statistically. It just shows that some people weigh the whole amount of releases that Taemin did and all of the work, or do you weigh in what was the high point in K-pop for the year, right? So that's really the argument you're trying to make. But I guess because it's tied there, it's not really breaking our tie because all 3 of us picked Taemin. So the Soju for Best Solo Artist Male goes to Taemin in 2020. Shout out to Taemin.
Congratulations.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I think this is there's going to be a lot of debate for this one.
Oh
So
man.
Best Solo Artist Female, right? So the 5 nominees are Chungha, Hwasa, IU, Ihai, and Sunmi. Anita, how about you go first with this one?
All right. For me, I think I wasn't really going off like album sales really or music show wins as far as like popularity and I guess what I would consider like the peak of these artists. But I've been kind of like with Taemin, I've kind of judged based on like what they were doing the whole year. And the one artist that I feel like has been hustling every single month, like it seemed like we were covering a comeback or something similar to that almost every single month was Chungha. Chungha, I think, had one of those years where she was doing so many projects, so many collaborations, like pre-releases and then full releases. So I feel like for sure, I don't think she had like a huge blow up song this year as with previous ones, but the work that she's been putting this whole year is very commendable. So I would give it to Chungha.
Yeah, so if we think about this category, right? The top two selling female solo artists aren't even in the nominees. So Moonbyul sold 116,000 and Solar sold 84,000.
Wow.
And Hwasa is one of the nominees. She's in 4th place. It's 68,000. That's kind of crazy.
That's actually very shocking.
3 Mamamoo people in the top 4. One other thing I want to point out in male solo artists, right? 4th place in sales was Suho at 290,000.
Oh, wow.
And 6th place was Woods at 245,000. But
Nice.
I believe the episode that you listened to last week, we really went over all the sales numbers. We're filming that tomorrow, so we'll talk all through all the numbers some more tomorrow. But in terms of right here, best solo artist female, I think it is a toss up. I think there's 3 people who stick out the most here. Although I think Ihai's Holo is a great song, right? I also think Sunmi's, specifically Borapipam, is a little bit underrated. We really like that song.
That was a good song.
Yeah.
But I think this is a 3-horse race between IU, Chungha, and Hwasa. So Hwasa, obviously, she had the one song Maria, but that, although I'm not the biggest fan of Maria, it blew up in Korea. It was referenced all the time. It was always played on TV shows. It was big. IU, I am an IU stan, right? Like, she's my ultimate bias. Love Poem was released last year, right?
Sure.
If we think about her year this year, she did Give You My Heart, which was an OST song, which did get a perfect all kill. She sang the Into the Island, the first version before the kids sang it, right?
Sure.
And then she did 8 featuring Suga, which obviously got a perfect all kill. I honestly feel like 8 was the only song she released this year, if we think about it, in that kind of sense.
Like a typical single.
Like the typical IU song. And even then, there's no album with that. It's just a single, right? That's all. That's pretty much all she did. She still had a lot of album sales, though. 3rd place with 83,000. I think that I also want to give it to Chungha this year.
Oh.
You know, if we think about it, she was supposed to have another release until she got COVID.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
She would have had 5 music videos. Everyone has Stay Tonight, which I think was the most notable of her releases this year.
Yeah.
My friend, that Dream of You choreography video was absolute flames. Even though she's only in 10th place with 20,000 album sales, I really just think, similar to Taemin, the amount of content she's put out this year, I want to award that. So I would like to give it to Chungha. Warren?
And now Warren.
We're having a pattern here.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to go over real quickly with Lehigh. And I was, because I'm a big Lehigh fan, I was tempted to put her there. But I think I would be excited about her next year with her, like, current progression of her career, where I was, like, not sure if I should pick her for solo artist. Rest of that, I think I pretty much agree, although my nomination gets split, and I chose IU over Chungha. Now, let me start where you left off, Doug. I definitely agree with you. Chungha definitely hustled this year. I am not going to deny that. She has been a great hustler this year. However, I think a key differentiating factor between Taemin and her for me is that, for me, every release that Taemin put out for me was consistently incredibly high quality. Chungha, while I love her releases, I was a little less impressed. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I thought they were good, but I don't think everyone was exactly memorably.
I honestly agree with you on that. I'm
disagree.
getting convinced right now. Keep talking.
No,
I'm getting
Doug.
convinced.
If you look at the list of songs, I frankly don't remember about half of them. I very much apologize for that.
I remember all.
I in fact would probably put Sunmi over Chungha in that aspect because her releases had so much impact for me. Even though they were small ones, they had so much impact. She had a collab with her former teacher and former like label CEO, and then Borapipam, which obviously we're all a fan of. So I think even there, that's already a very solid thing. However, the reason I'm nominating IU as female solo artist of the year was because 8 felt like a shift in her career. It felt like she was trying out new things, which is very consistent with what she's been doing the last couple of years, but it hasn't been as successful to this degree. Now, some people might say 8 was only popular because of Suga's rap verse, but no. 8, I think, was actually a very solidly well-built song. And in fact, I would say that's one of the best songs she's put out in the last couple of years.
I kind of agree with you.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you know?
Oh,
No, Doug.
The simp energy must be palpable in the room. I think I'm going to switch my vote real quick. All right, SojuTalk Nation. SojuTalk Nation had Hwasa in third place with 143 points. Second place, they had Chungha with 175. And in first place, they had IU with 207 votes. You know,
you guys didn't let him down.
I'm gonna succumb to the will of the people, and I think then that the Soju will go to my ultimate bias. This is a biased award giving right now. So the Soju goes to IU. Woo!
Congratulations.
All right. Underrated sleeper song of the year. This is one of the most interesting things we do,
That's
right?
spicy one.
So what do we mean by a sleeper song? Sleeper song is either a song by a really not that popular artist, or even a song from a decently popular artist that just people didn't really pay attention to. That's what we mean by here. And we give one out individually. It's probably our most, I wouldn't call it a throwaway award, but probably our least valuable award, but it's something fun, right? It's something fun.
It still means a lot. It still means a lot.
Shout out.
Yeah.
I'll go first, I guess. I know a lot of people at home, if you've been listening to us all year, are probably expecting me to give the Soju to April's La La Li La La.
Oh my God, you and that.
I do really love that song. I play that song like at least once every 2 days, I think.
Wow.
For you, that's very frequent. Not gonna lie. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
It's great. But I am not going to be giving it to April's La La Li La La. The next song I was debating was Victon's Howling. I really like that song too. I think that is one of their best songs. I think that's everything Victon should be doing. But I am not giving it to them either. The song I am giving my underrated sleeper song of the year Soju to is One We's Q featuring Hwasa, which was sort of that low key, lo-fi collaboration between the two of them. Super chill. I really wish One We tripled down into that direction. Honestly, I think a lot of people thought it was a good song and it got a decent amount of initial attention because of the featuring of Hwasa, of course, right? But I think that even now, this song is absolute banger, fire. So I personally want to give my Soju for underrated sleeper song of the year to One We's Q featuring Hwasa. Boom.
Nice.
All right, how about Anita goes next?
Yes. So my sleeper song of the year, I think I've been very vocal that I've liked this song, and I think I might have already mentioned this song in a half year review. And I don't know, I feel like it has withstood the time, the amount of replays that I've had with this song over the couple of months after it was released. And it is Girls in the Park's Bazooka. So I think Doug and we were saying that this is a pretty vanilla choice.
This is so vanilla, Anita.
Yeah.
This is a lawful, good choice.
I want to give another shout out because I think it is a really great song, and it's been a while. It was way earlier in the year that we covered it, but yeah, almost a full year. But it's still really great. I'm still waiting for Girls in the Park to have a really big song, and that they finally reached that bigger popularity that I think they really deserve.
They're on the cusp from mid tier.
Yeah,
they're really close.
They're very close.
But yes, shout out to Bazooka.
You know, I might have think this is probably a little vanilla just because similar to Weekly, the Discord loves Gongwon Sonyo, and they specifically love Bazooka. Shout out to KME and Max. They've been talking about Bazooka for the entire year. That's their jam specifically. I agree.
I will say, when I was making the new season 3 theme song, Yeah,
Yes.
I was inspired a lot by Bazooka.
There was a
Exactly.
version.
Not gonna
There
lie.
was a version of the new theme song, which was basically Bazooka.
No, it
He was
it
like,
was great.
he's like, is this similar to Bazooka? I DM'd Danita. I'm like, this is Bazooka, isn't it? And she's like,
Yeah.
there was similar effects on similar instruments. It was different chord progressions, you know. Like,
all right, plagiarizer. Give us yours underrated. So Anita, I'm gonna confirm that you want to give your Soju for underrated sleeper song of the year to Gongwon Sonyo, Girls in the Park, GWSN's Bazooka. Correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right, let's get it. All right, Warren, give us your sleeper song of the year.
Great. Well, I was down to 2 tracks. I was down to 2. I was between ITZY 24 Hours and this other track, and I think even though I can't give it to 24 Hours by ITZY, it's a B-side off of their, I believe, their third mini album EP. I forget. I think it's the last track on it, and it was very, very solid. It was a great juxtaposition between like maximalism and minimalism that, you know, like really accentuates a lot of their characteristics. But I think in that similar aspect, I really got to give it to Signature's Nunnunanna.
Bro, you
Wow.
bugging with this one, dude.
This is coming
I
out of
know.
left field here.
Wow.
I know it's very coming out of left field. Now, hear me out.
Okay.
I think one of the rising trends of this year of 2020 was the juxtaposition between like cutesy energy and then like high extreme energy, and creating this enjoyable mix of some kind of crush. I don't know, like it's another kind of crush, but I'm sure there's a marketing word for it. In that aspect, I think a lot of songs kind of fell flat. One example that I always refer back to is Bouncy by Rocket Punch. I think I was very let down, not gonna lie. But I think in that aspect, Signature's Nununanna actually does a really, really good job of taking the dynamics to the maximum and then dropping it down all out into nowhere and then bringing it back. I think the song itself is actually like, it almost feels like it belongs in the future. You know, I feel like as listeners, as just normal people, we're not ready for this yet. I think
I kind
this
of see what you
belongs-
mean.
Yeah,
Man, I'm gonna make a take here. I kind
Song
of feel
of
like
future right here,
I kind of feel like this song we might just want to leave it back in the past, y'all.
bro.
No,
I'm not
check it
saying it's a bad
out.
song. It's just not my favorite. And I was, when Warren told me like, bro, I'm gonna choose between some songs, and I'm like, really? And he's like, I censored it on the script. And I'm like, well, I gotta go look at it now. And I saw the second song. I was like, oh hell no! Oh. Like that's literally what I thought.
I will say this was the only Signature song that we didn't cover on the show.
Yeah.
So like this, I listened to in a different context compared to like the other two Signature comebacks that we covered. And I like, maybe it's because of that. I don't know. I like this a lot more than the other two. I think it succeeds a lot better in what it wants to do, and then really delivers on that like both very cute but very energetic kind of crush energy that we kind of failed to get from a lot of people this year. And I think that's really good.
All right, so Warren Soju for underrated sleeper song of the year is going to Signature's Nunun Nan Nan. Wow, I can't believe that happened.
Nana, let's go.
All right, let's move on to, I would say, the biggest awards before we get to our Daesangs. So, Boy Group Excellency. So the way we do this is we award it to 3 groups in both boy groups and girl groups. So there'll be 6 in total, who we think had the best 2020. And then the winners, so the people who get 3 in boy group, winners who get 3 in girl groups, will then become candidates for Group/Artist of the Year Daesangs. So this is a big deal, y'all. All right, Boy Group Excellency. 6 candidates. We only have 6. We're picking half of them to win, right?
Oh man.
ATEEZ, BTS, NCT. I almost forgot how to read for a second. I almost had a stroke. NCT, 17, Stray Kids, and TXT. Those are some big groups, y'all.
Man.
By the way, those 6 groups collectively cover, other than ATEEZ, like the top 6 best-selling groups in guy group.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's talk album sales first, right? BTS first place, 9 million albums sold through November, and there's gonna be a lot of B sales in December, right? So 9 million already. ATEEZ is the lowest one out of this. They're in 10th place with 692,000, but that is not that's not a small number by any means. NCT, right? So they have 3.8 million. So as a collective, they would be in second place, but it's broken up into NCT 127 in third place overall for guy groups, NCT 2020, so the whole group as a whole, in fourth place, and NCT Dream in ninth place. 17 is in second place with 2.7 million. Fifth place, Stray Kids with 942,000, and then TXT sold the sixth most albums for boy groups with 921,000 albums. All right, so that's the album sales. My impression is there's three groups out of these six that stand way head and shoulders above the other three.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first one obviously is BTS. I think it's undeniable that you got to put them as one of the best guy groups of 2020. I think that's like cut and dry. I think if you're arguing against it, you're crazy at this point.
Cuckoo man. Nah.
All right, so that one I think is straightforward. The other one I think that is fairly straightforward. You got to give it to NCT. The amount of songs that brand / group has released this year, I think it's like 11 music videos or something across NCT with the Resonance series, 127, Dream, and Wavy. It's nuts. Just listen to the list. Resonance, Work in 90s Love, From Home, Make-A-Wish, Bad Alive, Turn Back the Time, Punch, Riding, and Kick It. So that's crazy in itself.
Wild.
I think those two you got to give it to. The third one, I think it is really a debate between do you give it to Stray Kids' big come up this year or do you give it to 17's album sales? I do think for 17, Home Run is a really good song. I think Left and Right was a bit of an oof. I'm going to be honest here.
Left on. Right.
If we look at Stray Kids, they first had the mixtape. It was called On Track. I don't think that's really that big of a deal. What is a big deal was God's Menu and Backdoor. Those were massive songs in 2020. Absolutely massive. I don't think any boy group did more to improve their standing in K-pop than Stray Kids this year. So for that reason, I got to put Stray Kids as my third group that I want to give Excellency to.
I mean,
great. We all agree.
Yeah, we all agree. I don't think.
Really? Okay.
Okay, let's talk about it for a bit, right? Because I do agree. Stray Kids had the biggest percentage increase, personally, right?
Yeah.
Like compared to where they were last year into this year, I think it was an incredible improvement. I'm incredibly impressed. And that's not to say these other groups had poor years either. I think TXT, compared to last year, did they have a stronger year or not? I don't know, but I'll tell you that Blue R and Can't You See Me were very solid tracks, and they were incredible in terms of popularity. And while last year I had the impression that they were like BTS's little brothers, not gonna lie, that's the impression I had. This year, however, I'm thinking, all right, TXT, that's who they are. They stand on their own. Like that's like they really finalized who they are as an identity, and I think that was really great. ATEEZ, on the other hand, I felt like maybe might have had a better year last year. I don't know.
Anita, what do you feel as an ATEEZ fan?
I agree with that statement because I think in the beginning of this year, I did have more expectations with their concept, but as throughout the year, I feel like it hasn't been the best year for a lot of groups too because of the whole COVID situation. But there were tours that were planned, and it kind of died down. So I feel like there was a shift, right? And you can't really do much about it. But the concept and the releases just weren't my favorite, to be honest. I feel like we shifted a little bit. And it wasn't really to my taste. So I kind of lost track of ATEEZ a little bit this year.
ATEEZ's 2020 felt like Monsta X's 2019 to me.
That's a very fair point to make.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
We had Shootout in 2018, 2019. It's like, yeah, Monsta X had a good year, but it didn't feel like they popped off. I do think with ATEEZ it's a little unfair because they do have a lot of fans in the West, and I think they were banking on doing some tours and stuff like that. Anita wanted to go to the one so badly, right? I remember that. It just didn't work out. I think that would have helped them significantly in 2020 if that had happened. We're kind of in agreement on this. The SojuTalk Discord, right? They put NCT in third place with 124 points.
Interesting.
Stray Kids in second place with 137, so very close there. And then in first place, BTS, 245 points.
Of course.
Big numbers.
Yes.
Big numbers.
So I think that the Soju this year for Boy Group Excellency, we unanimously chose BTS, NCT, and Stray Kids in no order because this is not ordered. So those are the 3 we are giving it to.
Congratulations.
Shout out to those groups. All right, let's get to the most contentious part of this entire episode, right?
Jesus Christ.
Girl group Excellency. So, of course, awarded to the 3 girl groups that had the best 2020. They will become candidates for the Daesangs again. Just getting the candidates. I was shocked by the results by some of it. I'll explain more. So the 6 candidates that ended up qualifying for this: Blackpink, GFriend, ITZY, IZ*ONE, Oh My Girl, and Twice. That is a stacked card right there. So this is how the rest of it turned out. So the way the point totals came out, I'll just be straight up. Blackpink, Twice, and IZ*ONE qualified, like straight up, right? And even Oh My Girl really was just in there, right? So those 4, it was like those are going to be in there. Then we had ITZY with 46 points, GFriend with 39. So those ones made it in, right? Right after that, we had Luna with 35, Dreamcatcher 26, Everglow 26, Mamamoo 23, G-Idol 18, Wakey Makey 13, Red Velvet 9, A-Pink 7.
Oh, man.
There was a clustering between GFriend and Mamamoo. And I am honestly, like, I know Mamamoo did a lot of solo stuff this year, but for them to drop down all the way to 10th place was a little bit surprising to me.
That's very shocking, not gonna lie, yeah.
Luna got really close, too, to taking the spot over GFriend. But as it stands, Blackpink, GFriend, ITZY, IZ*ONE, Oh My Girl, Twice. Those are the groups we will be deciding between. All right. This is all right. Warren, you go first with this. Let's see what you want to say.
Okay. I think the one group that we can all agree on is the one group that made huge strides in the West this year. And that's obviously Blackpink, right? I think as much as I was critical about it, I think it sent huge waves. It had a huge impact in terms of like, in terms of the just sheer amount of popularity he had. And I think that's impossible to ignore. I think they had a really solid year in terms of their entire career so far. This year was probably their best year, just overall in general. So I think in that aspect, I can't ignore Blackpink. Nobody can ignore Blackpink. In that aspect.
Completely agree with you on that.
This is where things starts to get a little out of, I think my 2 other picks is IZ*ONE and Oh My Girl. Now, and for different reasons each, respectively. And one is that IZ*ONE this year, even though they had a lot of obstacles with their comebacks, I think they really expanded upon the way marketing is done with fandoms for a girl group too. Like that was very almost revolutionary in my opinion. And I think that's impossible to ignore. And sure, I may have been not the biggest fan of their songs, but I was probably in the minority there. A lot of people are fans of the songs. I think in that aspect, you gotta have to give it to IZ*ONE. I think the sheer amount of popularity that they have, both in Korea and then in Japan and then all over else the world, I think it's impossible to ignore. You have to give it to them. Now, I think my 3rd one goes to Oh My Girl. Similarly, for the similar reason that I gave it to Stray Kids last time around. Dolphin and Nonstop, Dolphin especially, just blew them out of the water. And sure, they were riding on top of Queendom, but this year in particular, man, like they just became so big. Like this was the year for them. This was the year. Oh My Girl left that mid tier and then went into like we're gonna remember them forever now tier. Like so, Anita, why don't you add on?
No, for sure. I feel like I also 100% agree with Blackpink, 100% agree with IZ*ONE, and I think I was almost wondering about IZ*ONE, but the sales numbers don't lie. Like they don't huge.
Lie. Look at those numbers.
I feel like for me, the dip point kind of went with Secret Story of the Swan. I wasn't a huge fan of that release, but when they came back with Panorama and the sales numbers for that too, definitely solidified themselves as like top tier for sure. And yes, in a similar manner for me, Oh My Girl had a year where like maybe not reflective in self numbers or music show wins, but popularity wise, I feel like I saw them everywhere. Like they were referenced by other groups a lot. Dolphin definitely had like a dance bit that I feel like a lot of groups were doing. So I feel like for sure Oh My Girl has the most positive perception right now because of the work they've done. And I think Queendom was a big part of that, but I think I only saw it until now.
Right.
Like, oh, yes, for sure. Like, people are watching them, paying attention to them now. So that's why I would put them also there.
One more thing I want to add with Oh My Girl is that they are following the more traditional formula of connection with the general public for girl groups, right? Like that. That's where I was like, a lot of the other groups are kind of weak right now, and that's where Oh My Girl really excelled. So that's where, for me, they really stood out, you know. But I could be convinced, Doug.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
All right. I agree with everyone on Blackpink, right?
Right.
Angaon through November, about 1.7 million albums. That's ridiculous, right?
Big number.
That's monstrous, right? Especially for a girl group, that's crazy. That's third overall for all K-pop groups, right? Nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Let me just go through everyone. I think G-Friend had actually a really good year. We really liked Crossroads. I remember specifically. Mago, I'm a huge fan of. I thought Apple was okay. Not my favorite out of the three though. I think they deserve their nomination this year. They had a really great year for them. Source being under Big Hit, it's starting to definitely pay dividends here. I think it's great. ITZY, not Shy and Wannabe. Yo, ITZY is like 1 or 2 songs from being a top tier girl group. Like I'm talking like a top 5 girl group. They're if not already, just the amount of hype and how much people like ITZY is so apparent these days.
It's very clear, right?
All right, Eyes One, right? About 1.1 million album sales, and that is just the November numbers. There's no one reeler sales in this. When December is all said and done, I'm gonna guess this is gonna be like 1.3, 1.4, if not higher.
Oof. Very possible.
They're probably going to be second for girl groups, I think, by the end of the year. Secret Story of the Swan, not my favorite either. Fiesta Panorama though, hey, let's go, buddy. I think I want to include Eyes One because the combination of the song quality plus the album sales puts that in there. So that's good for me. Oh My Girl, Nonstop, and Dolphin. Well, Dobson's Dolphin was more of the B-side that blew up, right? But
yeah.
Nonstop was the A-track.
Right.
I mean, you got IU singing Dolphin. You got, I believe, TXT or Treasure, one of those two was also singing Dolphin as well. So that was kind of cool. I think Oh My Girl, for me, is 4th place. I don't want to give them Excellency this year. The reason is, although the songs were hype, right? Their one album, I believe it's in an EP, and it is entitled Nonstop itself. It didn't sell all that great. Like, it was solid, but not all that great. For reference, they're not in the top 10 for girl group sales, right? I personally I think similar to Stray Kids, right? They did improve themselves the most this year, but they just don't have the physicals to back it up like Stray Kids does. That's where it falls off for me. Finally, Twice, right? More and more, I would say it's one of those songs that people debate if they like or don't like. I Can't Stop Me, pretty critically acclaimed by most people, right? People really like I Can't Stop Me. 1.28 million album sales. I think they still got it. I think that their year was solid enough to be included in this. So for me, I would rather have Twice instead of Oh My Girl.
All right.
That's how I kind of feel about it.
I think Twice is very clearly in an interesting point of their careers right now because this is their second year into like the concept shift, right? Like that began with Fancy, and then we had Feel Special, and then more and more, and we have I Can't Stop Me. In that aspect, I left last year feeling excited for Twice, and I was left at the end of this year. I'm left wanting a little more. Not gonna lie.
So
more.
There's not really a debate because there is a majority vote on this. But both of you are disagreeing with what the SojuTalk Discord wanted. So Oh My Girl was in 4th place with 60 points, and they thought it would have been a debate between Oh My Girl or Eyes One, who only has 70 points, right? That's like 4 people switching first place votes there, right?
Right.
Twice was in 2nd place with 163 points, guys.
Oh man.
And then 1st place was Blackpink with 185. So based on the numbers, the SojuTalk Nation was debating if we should give number 1 to Blackpink or we should give it to Twice. Essentially. And y'all want to put them in 4th.
Well, Warren said he could be convinced.
But unless Warren is really switching here, which I don't think he's going to, You're not, right?
I don't think I was convinced. I'm sorry.
There's the SojuTalk Discord's vote doesn't play in because there's not a tiebreaker here, right?
That is true.
Wow, that's crazy. Y'all are
Shout out to Twice though. Honestly.
I just want to say, for the record, I am not stubbing Twice. I want them second place. Your boy Doug, I'm on the Twice hype train.
Just to be very clear, I also like Twice a lot. I have a physical right here.
Bro, that's a 2019 physical, not a 2020. Just saying. But the Soju for girl group Excellency this year in 2020 is going to Blackpink, IZ*ONE, and Oh My Girl. That is a big surprise. Wow.
Congratulations.
All right. Let's move on to our Daesangs now. So we're going to give out 4 of them. Boy group of the year, girl group of the year, song of the year, and artist of the year. The way we do it in SojuTalk, it's a weird system, right? So girl group of the year, boy group of the year, and artist of the year all have to be awarded to different people. Different groups, different artists, whatever you want to do. You can only double up if you win one of those and song of the year. Mm-hmm. But for instance, BTS cannot win boy group of the year and artist of the year. They have to go to 2 different people.
So there cannot be any overlaps between groups of the year and artist of the year.
Correct. Let's start off in the easiest place. I think the easiest way to do this is I think you have to give artist of the year to BTS.
Oh yeah.
I think it's undeniable. I think the only person you could have a legitimate argument with, maybe 2 groups, NCT and maybe Blackpink. Those are the only 2 groups you could even have a conversation about this.
I think that would be not. I'm not sure about that. BTS had such a great year this year.
Map of the Soul 7. Even if they just released that, I think it was enough to give them artist of the year just based on how many albums it sold. And then they hit us with the second album B. We got Dynamite as well in the middle, which is essentially a pre-release for B and Life Goes On. Cray, right? They've again extended how far K-pop has gone by a humongous amount this year. The Billboard Hot 100 #1, right? The Billboard 200 dominating it with 2 albums. Dynamite also it was a crazy year for them. Let's be real. And they took the most advantage of the situation the world is in, and it's nuts.
Sure. I think if you look back at the releases they had this year, sure, I might have had my problems and concerns with it, but at the same time, it was very, very solid all around. It was a lot of great tracks. Mm-hmm. It's undeniable how solid Dynamite is built. It's just a well-built track that, sure, one could argue it's using an equation that works for everybody, but not everybody's able to pull off that Motown equation off, and they did it really, really well. Not gonna lie, there's a lot of bangers off Mot 7 and there's a lot of bangers off B. I think it's impossible, and they made so many big strides in the Western market this year, just like you mentioned, which, considering this year was the bad year for a lot of people given the whole virus situation, is there any room for debate here? Is there any room for debate
I really think there's not. Anita, do you have any comments? But Anita wrote an interesting answer choice here.
Wild lad.
She wrote probably BTS or Twice, and then didn't even include Twice in the girl group Excellency. So explain.
No, I think there must have been a mistake in the script because
that might have been what you put last year, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I am 100% on track with BTS being the artist of the year because of everything we've mentioned so far. And I don't know, definitely the argument of this year being a really rough year, but still being a super huge year for BTS somehow.
It's been nutty.
Imagine if it hadn't been like this. It'd be even crazier. So definitely props to BTS.
All right. The SojuTalk Discord, this is how they voted. So 6th place, IZ*ONE 22 points. 5th place, Stray Kids 23. 4th place, Twice with 42. 3rd place, NCT with 43. 2nd place, Blackpink with 73. And BTS in 1st place with a massive 162 points. The Daesang for Artist of the Year, we only have 1 trophy, so it's the same trophy. The Daesang Soju. Let's give them the cup too. We got the soju glass, the big shot glass here. It is going to BTS for Artist of the Year. Shout out to BTS.
Congratulations.
All right. I guess the logical progression then is let's do Boy Group of the Year, right? So BTS, because they won Artist of the Year, do not qualify this. So we are debating between Stray Kids and NCT. right? Who's going to get boy group of the year? All right. Although I think Stray Kids was the come up this year, right? I just feel like the amount of content that NCT has put out this year, plus the overall quality of the content. I know I might not be the biggest fan of some of the songs, specifically like Work It, just saying. I think that NCT finally lived up to the hype this year. Like they popped off on all cylinders. The even if they didn't do the resonance stuff, right? They had already they already had a crazy year. Like Kick It is one of the biggest songs of the year by itself, right? But then they hit us with the resonance, y'all, and 2 parts with 4 songs. And then the resonance thing at the end for the 5th song, crazy. Therefore, I just feel like you got to give it to them for boy group of the year here.
I would agree. Strongly agree with this.
Lauren, do you want to say? Someone say stuff about Stray Kids too, because they like God's Menu, was a massive song. Backdoor, crazy good song too.
Exactly. I feel like yes, for sure, Stray Kids definitely solidified for me, like that they're up there for main boy groups that are competition, of course. And I feel like the only reason why I might have felt like I would give it to NCT over Stray Kids, like Doug mentioned, is just the sheer content that NCT was able to pull off straight from the beginning. I think Stray Kids kind of started to pick up more momentum towards half of the year going forward. But for NCT, it was kind of like pretty early on, and it just has been going nonstop, really, up until December with Resonance. So I feel like definitely Stray Kids, great improvement in like popularity standing, sales for sure. But for NCT, the sheer amount of work is very impressive. I think putting out a full album with NCT 127 and then comebacks for units and then a 2-part album is crazy.
I do want to note that I want to note where we were last year. Stray Kids, I was very excited about them last year. Because maybe I wasn't the biggest fan of the releases they've been coming up with, but I was seeing consistent improvement, and I wanted them to really do really well, and they did. I'm not gonna lie. But that is a bit of a stark contrast with NCT, where last year, at the end of the last year, I was very concerned. I was very worried. And I don't know if I got to say it in the last of the predictions and review episode last year, but if you go look at my script, for example, I wrote that this year is a very, very crucial year for NCT. I thought this year, if they don't do well, that it might just be a continuous downhill ride from there. And in that aspect, they blew themselves out of the water in terms of my expectations, and that was incredibly wild. It was a constant barrage of great songs, like you guys mentioned, and for that reason, I think I have to give it to NCT.
I want to shout out SM for managing to pull that off in 2020. Like
crazy.
The logistics
Crazy
must have been
stuff.
nuts. The SojuTalk Discord did not agree with us though. NCT came in 3rd out of the 3 with 124 points. Stray Kids was in 2nd with 137. So I believe
close.
those are the same numbers from the Excellency. And then BTS was obviously in 1st. It's pretty close though, but
Very close.
We will be handing out the boy group of the year, Daesangs Soju. Wait, I almost messed it up. To NCT, yes, NCT. Woo! Shout out to NCT. That the year they had in 2020 is like a legendary year for me. All right, girl group of the year. These were not the candidates I was expecting here. I was going to have a comment between 2 groups, and one of them is not on this list anymore. Oh, yeah. But the candidates are Blackpink, IZ*ONE, and Oh My Girl. I'ma just be straight up here. Like, I cannot see out of these 3 us giving it to anyone but Blackpink. The album, I think we're getting the live concert or the concert. They have all the invitation. They've been using all these like big, bold claims, right? We've always said that Blackpink is only being held back by their lack of releases, right? I think that has been the narrative that everyone has been pushing coming into 2020. No one even knew what we were going to get. And we still haven't gotten everything. LOL those solos. Like, where are they, right?
Yeah.
But that being said, what they gave us this year with the album, right? They gave us How You Like That. Okay, it's like, I really like that song now. Ice Cream. You know, with Selena Gomez, that was a thing. Lovesick Girl's a pretty fire song. I think they finally delivered.
Yeah.
And I think we really need to reward that. They sold a gajillion albums. I think it's undeniable that Blackpink is the girl group of the year this year.
For sure. I think
For sure.
for me, just yes, there was a hype for the album, but the progression with the pre-releases and how they did it was also really interesting. And I guess it solidified for me that this is how a lot of people are going to do it. Like pre-releases is the thing to do now. So I feel like I was a little iffy about it when they started doing it because I feel like, well, is this kind of diluting the hype a bit? But nah, it was completely the opposite. So I feel like they're also kind of setting some trends that people then later follow. And I think that's very commendable, for sure.
We would like to take a small pause from the award ceremony. Douglas has gone to the bathroom. But while we're doing that, I do want to comment on Blackpink as well, right? Because here's the thing. K-pop isn't... okay, let's first begin with the fact that I wasn't very much a big fan of their music. Besides Ice Cream, in fact, I think between the other two comebacks and the entire The album, I wasn't very impressed musically. I wasn't. I'm not going to hide that fact. However, I think K-pop is not simply a game of but who does art better, you know? Like, I think a lot of it comes down to the sheer impact they're able to have in the industry, the sheer amount of popularity they're able to collect. And in that aspect, it's they really blew up in the Western market. They did.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah.
You know, if we didn't have Rona, if we didn't have Melona 19, I think this year, like, we would have seen him in all sorts of festivals, you know, like...
Oh, yeah.
That was bound to happen. Sadly, you know, things didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but regardless, you know, my non-K-pop fan friends know who Blackpink is now. My coworkers know who Blackpink is now. They don't know who any of the other groups are. Like, I think that alone said a lot. It said quite a lot. And I've also noticed that bleeds into the general public's perception of these groups as well. And I think they definitely have picked up on the popularity of Blackpink as well. So yeah, I mean, as much as I love IZ*ONE and Oh My Girl, you know.
You love IZ*ONE? Like, I don't think the Discord would agree with you. There's like a revolution against Ward and his opinions on IZ*ONE songs. If you were watching the video version, yes, I did go to the bathroom in the middle of the recording. I was literally debating, do I take that shot glass and pee in it? Because I had to go so badly. But I decided to save you all from a viral moment and just go to the restroom like a normal human.
To be frank, your lower half of your body is not in camera.
No,
not in
Bro,
shot.
I could have had a poker face, muted the mic, and just gone.
Nobody
And I don't
would've known.
I don't think anyone would have
Please,
known.
never.
Bro, I'm like barely wearing pants right now. I'm wearing shorts. You can't tell though. Just saying. You know, okay, so IZ*ONE, Oh My Girl, I think they had great years. IZ*ONE, I would never have expected us to have this many physical sales, especially coming off with the controversy we were in. Like, yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh My Girl's the come up. So the SojuTalk Discord though, right? In third place, well, obviously now in fourth place, they would have had Oh My Girl with 60 points, right? And then we had IZ*ONE with 70. Twice, who got snubbed by us, would have had 163, and then Blackpink was in first with 185. So based on the three candidates, they really agree with us here that it should be Blackpink.
Yeah.
That being said, so they are finally getting, instead of the album, here is the Soju. So Blackpink
Yay.
in 2020 will be awarded the Girl Group of the Year Soju. So shout out to Blackpink.
Shout out, congratulations.
How you like that? Oh, you got something else to say, Warren?
I do also want to note, like, Twice also had a great year this year. Like, it's kind of unfortunate that they didn't make it to our candidates list, but like,
don't backtrack, fam. All right, final category we are going to be awarding is Song of the Year. So we also had a poll based on what everyone thought was Song of the Year. I'm gonna say it. Some of y'all spelled some of these songs terribly wrong. Like the capitalization was a little funky, but we figured it out. You know, I sorted and I worked it out. I understand what you wanted. So just know that similar to the American election, your vote was counted in this poll.
Yes.
But the 5 candidates. So these are the people who got the most choices. So you only got to put one song, what is your song of the year straight up. So the 5 songs that had the most responses were BTS's Dynamite, IU's 8 featuring Suga, NCT 127's Kick It, Twice's I Can't Stop Me, and Zico's Any Song.
This is a strong lineup of songs.
I kind of, like, I was thinking about this list. I kind of agree with it for the most part. That's what I was sort of thinking. All right, where do we begin with this? I really think it's a 2-horse race between Dynamite and Any Song, depending on what you want to give it to. And if I wanted to pick a third song out of the 3, I think that Kick It got the most viral out of the remaining ones.
Oh, yes.
That whole dance, you know, we got a Warren GIF of it on our Discord now.
Yes, there is.
Oh my god.
Like, that exists.
I think that was the first gift they made of me. I'm not sure, but
yeah, this one's kind of tough though to choose between. Other songs though that got multiple choices were Baekhyun's Candy, Blackpink's How You Like That, Everglow's Larida, and Sunmi's Borapipam were the other ones that were almost qualified for this. But I just think that although Zico's song went super viral, right? I just think that Dynamite's the better song at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Before Anita explains why she also thinks Dynamite, I just think like the funk, I think this was groundbreaking. This is in English, and I want to give a K-pop award to an English song, right? That's already in itself kind of cool. Warren doesn't agree with us though, and let's hear why he thinks we should give it to Any Song.
I mean, I'm not gonna deny Dynamite was a great song. That's undeniable. I've been constantly praising it. In fact, it's probably the first time I've praised anything from BTS this much. However, Any Song, look, I think on a marketing and a business and an industry level, you have to recognize the amount of sheer impact, the entire butterfly effect it had. And what a strong role of TikTok virality has had in the entire industry.
That is fair, for sure.
That is it pretty much changed the entire game. Now, if you have listened to the podcast for a long time, you know that I'm all about game changers. This song was a game changer. Sure, Dynamite was also a game changer, but Any Song changed how everyone else does marketing, and that to me says a lot. You know, the artists themselves were very much impacted. Now, that alone, I think, was very much good enough to put it on Song of the Year. However, on a song level by itself, when is the last time we have seen a bossa nova jazzy hip hop track blow up on any of the charts? What? Tell me. It's never. This is a complete subculture of a subculture, a minor genre, and with a very unique, composition and arrangement that somehow made its way into like peak of popularity. That in itself, an incredible feat to achieve. And going back to Dynamite, sure, I think they also excelled a lot in terms of like how the song was produced and the entire comeback in itself. But I don't think it has the amount of uniqueness that Any Song was able to pull off. And that's why my nomination goes to Zico's Any Song. 아무거나 일단 틀어. 아무거나 신나는 걸로.
You're kind of convincing me, Warren.
Oh, here we go.
No, because I feel like my decision, like I wrote down Dynamite, right? Because I think that's the most recent viral song that I can solidly say, like, yes, definitely one that is making waves in the music charts, everything, right? Even in like Western radio, I feel like very, very well-known song. But in the first half of this year, Any Song was everywhere. I feel like it did set a trend and it did drive that shift towards TikTok and other more like, how do you say, viral dances, like focusing on that viral dance move that people wanted to push. Even 17 kind of did that too. So I feel like, yeah, I'm very torn because I do feel like Dynamite in a sense encompasses more of what I feel like will be sung still, maybe coming into next year and like covered. But do I think it's representative of the whole year?
I do want to note though, I'm looking at the Melon #1 charts, monthly chart of 2020. We have songs like Meteor in January, number 1. 8 by IU, May and June. How You Like That, July. Summer Again by SOC3 on August. Dynamite, September, October, and November. And it's still hanging out in the charts.
I mean, for reference, last week it won its 27th music show in December, even though the song was released on August 21st. That's kind of crazy. This kind of feels like the Song of the Year debates we had back in 2018, where it was, do you pick Love Scenario because it went viral, or do you pick Duruturu?
Yes.
This kind of feels a tiny bit like that argument to me. What are you going to award it to? Anita picked Love Scenario back then. I picked Duruturu. Warren picked Bad Boy by Red Velvet. So that's a
that
throwback.
was a really great song, though.
I just feel like the amount of sticking power Dynamite has had has been like
That's true.
crazy town. In terms of the Discord, the top 3 songs were in third place. Twice's I Can't Stop Me. 7 people picked as the Song of the Year. Zico's Any Song, another 7 people picked that one. And then Dynamite had 26 votes for Song of the Year. I feel like Warren's been outvoted a lot today. I kind of feel bad.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not angry. I think these are all very, very worthy results.
I feel I kind of feel bad because Zico's Any Song did blow up, right? That's for sure. But I guess that the Song of the Year's Soju Daesang is going to BTS's Dynamite and its incredible sticking power.
Yes.
Wow.
Congratulations.
All right, so that kind of wraps up all the awards. I'm going to go through all of them real quick. So Rookie of the Year Male went to Treasure. Rookie of the Year Female went to Weekly. Best Solo Artist Male went to Taemin. Best Solo Artist Female went to IU. Underrated Sleeper Song of the Year. Your boy Doug chose One Wee's Q featuring Hwasa. Anita chose Gongwon Sonyo's Bazooka. And Warren chose Signatures. You pronounce it because I can't.
Nunnunanna.
Yeah, that one. Guy group or boy group Excellency went to BTS, NCT, and Stray Kids. Girl group Excellency went to Blackpink, IZ*ONE, and Oh My Girl. Yo, I'm really sorry once. Daesangs, the big awards. The boy group of the year was NCT. Girl group of the year went to Blackpink. Song of the year went to BTS's Dynamite. And artist of the year went to BTS. Woo. All right, awesome.
Wow.
Next week, you're going to be getting our review episode for 2020 and our predictions for 2021. That's always fun. The predictions, I'm gonna try to make them extra spicy for the upcoming episode. I haven't put mine in yet. We're recording in like 5 days from now. I'm gonna think of some spice for y'all. Just saying.
Good. Yes.
Actually, we're recording in 3 days. I can't count. But overall, this has been the 2020 SojuTalk Kpop Awards. I think it was fairly successful. No big snags. It's been fun. Shout out to BTS winning 2 Daesangs. Incredible year. And an incredible year for K-pop. But, yeah, that's kind of awkward. I'm Doug. I'd like to thank Warren and Anita for joining me this year. I'm happy that I did not pee my pants during the award show. Well, we'll see you all next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Woo.
Special shoutouts to our Fiesta patrons: Based Mina, Jenai, Gogu Mama, Jacob, Luke Daniels, Malfiar, NJ Parks, OP, Priz, Tier. Thank you for joining SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K Music Erday, Koala, Malfiar, Max, No Bias Luna, Tuggles, and Wolf297.